Hi YouTube. This is my very first YouTube video, so I wanted to share with you my tummy tuck journey and hopefully share some insight with you, about my journey. So I decided I wanted to have a tummy tuck because my body is just not what I wanted to be anymore. Once I started having kids, it was just difficult to try to get myself back to the way I want to look. I had a daughter, my first child. She was born with hypoplastic left heart syndrome. It wasn't diagnosed in utero, so we had no idea anything was wrong with her, and the doctors, obviously didn't think to look for it because we didn't have a family history. So we had taken her, they discharged her, we took her home. She was home for a couple of days, and we were in the grocery store, and she just started screaming and wailing, and we didn't know what was wrong. So we left a grocery cart full of groceries, and we took her to the emergency room. And this all happened in New Orleans because I'm a NOLA girl. So we took her to the emergency room out there, and they had no idea actually what was wrong with her. It took hours and hours. So they finally transported her to the local children's hospital there, and it took them a while, but they finally found it. And by that time, she was already so far gone because with this heart condition, you have, at the most a day before the child goes into cardiac arrest without any intervention. So, and it was just through the grace of God, she didn't, go into cardiac arrest, before that. So once she was diagnosed, she started going through her different surgeries, and it seems like every time they found one thing, something else happened because she was so far gone. So she passed away at 5 months. So it took me a long time to bounce back from that. I just couldn't imagine going through that again. So I didn't want any more kids, but my husband definitely wanted kids. So 7 years later, we finally decided we were ready. So we had my son, who's 5 years old now, and he was also born with the same heart condition, but they were able to catch it in utero because we had a family history. He went through his first, second, and third phase of his surgery. His first, that was my first cesarean. They popped my stomach out, popped him out of my stomach and popped him right into surgery the day he was born. So that was his first. His second surgery was at 6 months, and his final stage was at 4 years old. So, he's a healthy little boy. I mean, you can never imagine that anything was wrong with him because he's just has the energy of 10 men. I swear he can go all day nonstop. Like the energy in that kid is just amazing. So 5 years later after that, my husband decided he wasn't finished having kids. So we had my last son, Caden. He's 6 months now. So now that I'm definitely done having kids, I want to kind of start working on me, getting me back to where I would be happy. So I started in December. I started researching tummy tucks. So I went on realself.com and I just started reading all of the stories and looking at all the photos. And then after that, I started researching doctors here in the DFW area because I'm now in Texas. So Dr. Stagnoni, Gregory Stagnoni, kind of stood out to me because he does what I call light contouring. He doesn't just pull the skin down tight. He kind of pulls from both sides to kind of give you a little, contouring, and then he pulls the skin down tight and gives you a nice flat tummy. So if you don't feel like you need lipo, you can just go with that, and that type of tummy tuck and be totally fine. But me, the nervous perfectionist that I am, I decided, what if that's not enough? What if, I finally get that tummy tuck and then I still have all that extra love handled, and I don't want to go through all this and not be fully satisfied with the results. So I decided that I was going to get a light lipo on my flanks as well as the tummy tuck. And I also have a hernia, so I have to do a hernia repair. So, I have a lot that's kind of going to go on in that time, which is, probably the typical thing that, a lot of women have to go through. They have to get the hernia repair. So, I decided that I just didn't want to do the binding anymore because it was just cumbersome. I was so sick of every time I wanted to go out or put on a nice dress, I had to put on a waist trainer and bind myself up so tightly that I couldn't breathe, and it was just uncomfortable. So I didn't, that's why I decided that I'm gonna go for it. So once I started doing my research in December, I scheduled my consultation the following month in January. So I uh, right before my consultation, I went online and I did a ton of research. I, researched every possible thing I could. I researched the outcome of the surgery, like something called dog ears that some women have after they've had their tummy tuck. It's when you have like little pooches on right above your hips, like right where your flanks are. And I just didn't want to end up with that. So I researched that, and I researched keloids, how to avoid getting keloids, and because these are all, once you start doing all this research, you're going to have 1,000 questions. So it's best to have all that information ready. So when you go into your consult, you'll have all these questions that you can ask your doctor and you can leave out there feeling at ease. And if you don't, then you need to continue to look for doctors to be sure that you're 100% happy with your outcome. I researched dog ears, I researched keloids, I researched the uneven sutures. I've seen some women's suture line, or their incision line, and half of it is up here and the other half is down here, and it's kind of like a squiggly line. And I just wanted to ask the doctor how he would avoid that happening to me. I researched how to clean my scars, how to avoid keloiding, avoid the dark scar, and asked the doctor how, I also wanted to ask him how to avoid any of these things happening to me. And if they did, what would be his next step to, make sure that he can fix that. So once I did my consultation, then my pre-op was 1 week ago. So I did my pre-op appointment. We did the infamous photos, pre-op photos, which is terrifying, but it's a good milestone for you to be able to look back and say, that is what I used to look like, and this is what I look like now. So you can kind of be happy, be grateful that you took that step, and now you're going to be happy with you. You're going to fill out a ton of forms, a ton of consents. You're going to possibly get financial documents. They're going to ask you how you're going to pay for it, of course. I personally went through a credit union, but you can finance through your doctor's office. You can get a personal loan through the bank, or you can get a personal loan through the credit union. It's just up to you to do due diligence and try to find the best interest rate that you can, and the best terms, the best time frame that you want to pay. Because I think the doctor's office, they don't give you a long time frame. I think they give you maybe at the most 2 years. But if you go through, like, say, a bank or credit union, you can get up to 5 years financing terms, that can help you get your note to where you may want it to be. So be sure you do a ton of research on the banks and the interest rates and all. If you pay the money back earlier, will they penalize you? You want to make sure you have all that information to where you know exactly what you're getting into. Um, During your pre-op appointment, when you sign your forms, they're going to send you home with a booklet full of information. You should probably read that booklet at least 2 or 3 times, because it's always like every time you read over it, you're going to find some new information that you want to make sure that you know. Because once you come home from your surgery, you're going to be full of pain meds, and you want to be sure that you know how to take your meds, and you want to be able to explain this to your caregiver so they'll know how to help take care of you. You want to make sure you fill all your prescriptions the day of your pre-op appointment. When you come home from your pre-op appointment, you should go straight to the pharmacy, fill those prescriptions, because if you wait till the last minute, you may be sorry. Because I took my prescriptions in last week, and it took them a week to fill all of my prescriptions. So you want to be sure that you don't wait until the last minute before you start taking care of your prescriptions. You want to have everything there waiting for you when you come home from the surgery. Um, you want to do all your shopping for your home, for your kids, for your supplies that you're going to need. Make sure you have all that taken care of beforehand. I'm going to post a video with what my supply list and what I got and how everything, what I decided I needed, I guess. I'm also going to post a video on the scar treatment. I want to show you, my process, and show you what worked for me, what didn't work for me, and that way, you'll have like a guide to show you, what's necessary and what's not. Um, the day before yesterday, I started my stool softener, so that's going to give me a good week of having the stool softeners in my system, so that way after the surgery, I won't be straining trying to go to the bathroom, because the last thing you want to do is try to strain and you pop a stitch or something like that. So um, and last but not least, be sure to have positivity around you. Whomever is going to come by and visit you, or whoever is going to take care of you during this process, be sure that they are going to be a positive person. You don't want someone, while you're lying there in pain, they're looking at you like, yeah, you asked for this because you wanted to do this unnecessary surgery. You want somebody who's going to be on your side and is going to, lift you up during this process, because you're going to be in a ton of pain. So you don't want to, be annoyed and aggravated on top of all that pain. So I'm definitely going to, oh, and ladies, if you have a tattoo on your back, be sure to ask your doctor what's going to happen to like the placement of that tattoo once he starts to manipulate and pull and lipo and all that stuff, because that's something that people may overlook or forget. So I will, like I said, my surgery is going to be a week from today. So it's going to be, today is Wednesday, March 2nd. My surgery is going to be Wednesday, March 9th. So I will probably come back to you the day before my surgery and give you an update on how everything is so far, and what my mental state is, what my mental state is at that point. And, talk about my excitement, because I'm so excited. I'm just bursting at the seams, so I can't wait. This time is just going by so slowly. So I'll definitely give you that video of my supply list, and once I start my scar treatment, I'll definitely give you information on how to clean it, care for it, and make sure we keep it, from going dark. So I'll get back to you later, YouTube. Bye-bye.